ARM is the 96th biggest company in the world. They file 6Ks and 20Fs, so they don't do the normal SEC filings. Yeah, we'll see, Depthwish. I try not to prejudge anything. Is SoftBank the majority owner? I don't even know. I don't think they're. I don't remember. I don't know, Josh. Just let him lose his money. He might be. He might want to prove you wrong, so he stays interested in it if you just ignore him. ARM Holdings re-registered and was renamed to SoftBank Holdco Limited, a subsidiary of SoftBank Vision Fund. Company has 25% interest, the remainder held by SoftBank. And then they did an IPO, raised like $5 billion. Semiconductors are indispensable to everyday life. Yeah, I think we got a ban 4 a.m. I think it's over for you. I'm not your broker, man. Semiconductors are indispensable to everyday life. In today's technology-driven world, semiconductors are the enablers of the devices and infrastructure that facilitate virtually everything people do. As almost all of the products and services people use every day rely on semiconductors. That's a bizarre sentence. An English speaker would not write that. Manufacturing, logistics, city infrastructure, and building management also increasingly build their processes and services around semiconductor-enabled devices. As consumers and enterprises continue to demand more from their devices, we expect the performance of high-performance and energy-efficient semiconductors continue to expand. The world is becoming increasingly digital with the proliferation of smart connected devices such as smartphones, wearables, PCs, tablets, and other electronic devices. Even everyday products like washing machines, thermostats, and utility meters are becoming more advanced. The market trend to make nearly all products smart and connected is not just limited to consumer electronics, but is driving a wave of innovation across a broad range of end markets and use cases. For example, vehicles are effectively transforming into computers on wheels. Factory floors are becoming increasingly automated with electronics and robotics. And retail shopping is evolving with cashierless checkout technology. The massive expansion of data, advanced software applications, and AI are driving the need for high-performance compute capabilities. To address these workloads, a key approach has been to increase the speed of a CPU and expand the number of cores. Solely running an existing chip faster may deliver more performance, but increasing performance in this way results in higher energy costs and may cause thermal limits to be exceeded. For example, individual servers are limited by their ability to dissipate heat energy, while whole data centers are limited by how much electricity is even available to them. Mobile devices are limited by the energy stored in their batteries, while their instantaneous power is limited by thermal constraints. Furthermore, the transition to EVs is increasing pressure on automakers to consider the power consumption and thermal management of vehicle electronics. In addition, enterprises are increasingly mindful of the environment, which is driving a need for more efficient alternatives. Collectively, these considerations require innovation in chip design to address market demands for performance, efficiency, size, and cost of chips. Developing leading-edge chip products is significant and increase exponentially as manufacturing process nodes shrink. Design partners play an increasingly valuable role in chip design by providing specialized capabilities and expertise that enable semiconductor suppliers to focus on their core product differentiation while keeping pace with innovation. Design partners facilitate innovation and enhance customer positioning by reducing complexity and cost. Partners like ARM that can demonstrate a deep understanding of customer workloads are better positioned to integrate themselves into the customers. Many OEMs use off-the-shelf semiconductors when building their product offerings. However, we are seeing some OEMs look for custom chips that deliver better performance. Okay, what does our company do? ARM architects, develops, and licenses high-performance, low-cost, and energy-efficient CPU products and related technology, on which many of the world's leading semiconductor companies and OEMs rely. There are 7 billion ARM chips. For the 3 months, 7 billion ARM-based chips were reported as shipped, resulting in more than 287 billion ARM chips cumulatively. So 7 billion in a quarter and 287 billion cumulatively, powering everything from the tiniest of sensors to the most powerful supercomputers. Today, ARM CPUs run the vast majority of the world's software. Interesting claim. Including the OSs and applications for smartphones, tablets, and PCs, data centers and network equipment, and vehicles, as well as the embedded OSs in devices such as smartwatches, thermostats, drones, and industrial robotics. Every CPU is an ISA, which defines, instruction set architecture, which defines the software and structures that can be executed by the CPU. Essentially, a common language for software developers to use. The ISA sets the foundation for the large library of compatible software, which runs on those CPUs. The ARM ISA also has corresponding market position as compared to competing ISAs. That means that the ARM chips have a global community of software developers familiar with how to program the CPU. Chip designers using the ARM CPU can add desired functionality like Wi-Fi connectivity, image processing, video processing, etc., to create a system on a chip to meet the demands of any end market. Our primary product offerings are leading CPU products that address diverse performance, power, and cost requirements. Complementary products such as GPUs can also be used. Okay. So it says here that ARM CPUs run AI and ML workloads in billions of devices, including smartphones, cameras, digital TVs, cars, and cloud data centers. The CPU is vital in all AI systems, whether it's handling the AI workload directly or with the GPU. Established in 1990, that's interesting. ARM began as a joint venture between Acorn Computers, Apple Computer, and VLSI Technology. Okay, I'm going to have to look into this. Does anybody remember Acorn Computers? British computer company established in 1978 by Herman Hauser. Wasn't that the IBM guy? Who am I thinking of? Oh, this is the Olivetti guy. Huh. That's wild. I remember Wang too. That's so funny, WT. So ARM stands for Advanced Risk Machines. He also created Amadeus. That's funny. Amadeus is still around. I guess this guy's Austrian. AT&T bought the company. That's wild. They created this this device. Looks pretty badass. The AT&T EO Personal Communicator, 1993. Well ahead of its time. I'll say that. Acorn Computers. And then there was the ZX. This is wild. What a great story. The Acorn laptop. Are you guys gonna rock one of these? Look at that front. Look at that front section. You can imagine hitting that by accident. This looked like a military computer, you know, like this would launch a nuclear missile or something, right? I want one of these. If anybody could get me one of these, I'd love to have one. That's cool. The Zilog. Yeah, this is what runs Bloomberg actually right now. Bloomberg doesn't tell you this, but this is actually their system. If you go into their office, that's literally what they're still using. I was adjusting the font and I almost typed ARM instead of Arial. Old head system for the old heads. It's true. I like being an old head. It's very different from being an OG. You can be a very young OG, but old head implies you're old. Unk has now replaced old head in a lot of ways. And Unk can be very disparaging. Unk is a little bit insulting. All right, the original JV set out to develop a processor that was high performance, power efficient, easy to program, readily scalable, a goal that continues to define ARM today. One of the first ARM-based products was the predecessor of today's tablets. As a battery-powered device, it required an energy-efficient chip to maximize its battery life while producing the necessary compute. Our CPUs initially gained significant traction in mobile phones in the 90s. because we could provide performance while consuming little power. Many semiconductor companies entered the market as the mobile phone market grew, and many of them licensed ARM CPU products. Right, exactly, Garp. Okay, key product offerings. The ARM CPUs. These are the foundation of our product offerings. Is our CPU products. Our CPU products leverage our common scalable ISA and address a range of performance. Our other design offerings, they offer family of GPUs, system IP, compute platform products, and dev tools and software. I think they get a lot of license revenue is my guess here. Performance, power, and area, PPA. Very different requirement from a cloud server. Okay, continue to progress towards smaller transistors. Developing chips is becoming harder and more costly. Integrating AI and ML in every processor we design. Our market share in mobile applications processor market is greater than 99%. Wow. Our royalty revenue from the mobile applications processor market is 35% of our total royalty revenue. Okay. All right, let's get into the financials. We had the appetizer. Okay. What? Excuse me, what? Fuck? The hell is this? Where's the income statement? This is the income statement? You'll be kidding me, right? The fuck? Why are they playing with me like this? No, they're not playing with me like this. Come on, bro. Masayoshi-san's chairman. Damn. Fuck, bro. SoftBank owns 88%. fuck is this, bro? Come on, bruv. It's a fake fucking company. Where's the revenue and earnings? Come on, bruv. It's a UK company, don't forget. Okay, so the market cap is supposed to be... Isn't it, bruv? Come on, bruv. Well, I guess the stock dropped a little from when we did our screen. It's kind of on its ass. But the market cap would be 110 billion. In which case, some of these numbers might make a little bit more sense. Make about 30% more sense. But yeah, the revenue, this is 110 billion market cap. The revenue is 3 billion. Some of that's from related parties, mind you. Okay, I think their IPO caused them a lot of costs. So their operating income is around $1 billion, unadjusted or adjusted for that weird one-time dynamic. Okay, let's see what kind of assets they have. 3 billion. $3.5 billion in cash. Let's see how much debt they have. Well, I guess they don't have any debt. It's rare for a SoftBank company. Okay, so 105 billion EV. And let's see the cash flow. It's like around $1 billion of cash flow from operations. How about free cash flow? Same thing, roughly. Okay. Interesting. So you're talking about 106 times earnings. It's hard to see this being a huge growth business. Mobile phones have sort of peaked in terms of growth, at least. Revenue did grow 21% in 2024, which is fairly impressive. And I'm guessing it all basically all drops to the bottom line. So I wonder if they gave guidance or something that would account for some of this, but I would imagine the royalties will drop up as some patents expire too. This is a lot like Qualcomm and Royalty Pharma and some of these other companies where you just basically get a check. Yeah, I wonder how risk compares. No, NPV does not assume that okay. Oh, they're part of the Stargate project. I guess MediaTek. Okay, so they're guiding to an even bigger number. They raised guidance. I'm trying to think about where can cash flow go. It's certainly implying a lot of growth. But, think about cash flow doubling. Maybe you get to 2 billion free cash flow. You're still talking about 50 times earnings. Is there some yeah, I mean, you could do it a lot of different ways, but at the end of the day, the fastest and easiest way to do it is just do an NPV. In most of the companies we look at, free cash flow and net income are the same thing. that ARM is going to take advantage of that, maybe it's interesting, the financials, because when they went private, you have the old ARM and you have the new ARM. So I kind of want to see some of the old ARM results. I wonder if it's filed under the same company. I wouldn't think so. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Okay, yeah, here's the old filings. This is from, looks like they were private from 2016 to 2023. Just a SoftBank sub. Well, they just get a royalty stream, basically. Ah, interesting. Their business has definitely grown. This is 2013, 2014, and 2015. And I assume these are different currencies, so gotta be really careful here. But yeah, revenue has grown briskly. So that's why it's 100 times earnings. Interesting. So Amazon, I assume Amazon and some of these other, like Azure, they're using ARM pretty extensively. If they continue to do that, I mean, you could see free cash flow easily double. Then the stocks come down a lot. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, but yeah, they got taken off in 2016, so we didn't get a chance to see 2017 at least. And then there was a draft registration statement, kind of like an S1. And they changed, it looks like maybe they changed fiscal year, I don't know. They had a huge leap in revenue growth from 2 billion to 3 billion over 3 years. And then if you, let's see, you annualize, I'm guessing this is 15%. Yeah. They basically had 15% revenue growth for the last decade. Pretty good. So 100 times isn't that bad for that kind of growth. It's not all leverage though. They do seem to increase operating expenses a little bit. But you got to pay ARM as the toll taker. You gotta think the hyper growth is kind of done, but even with 10% revenue growth, substantially less than they've had. Yeah, you could see it's still expensive to me, but it's also very uncomfortable buying like IP focused companies because patents expire, right? They don't last forever, and you keep fighting with your customer, and eventually your customer might say, you know what? I think all your patents have expired. We're not using your stuff anymore. And that can be tricky. But obviously they have kind of a stronghold in this space. You know, they could try to be more extractive. And they've only grown 15% a year for the last decade, which is quite a lot, but I would think if that happened during the mobile phone boom, the mobile phone boom is sort of over. You know, I think at best it's fairly valued. Yeah, risk is risk gaining traction? Is that who's using risk? Yeah, the last year's earnings are a little obscured by Black-Scholes stuff. I'd use free cash flow. Market's down 37 basis points, although Quantum's underperformed in the last few hours, including QUBT, which was up earlier, now down 7%. Still no DARPA awards. I have to call a friend who has a lot of contacts in this space. Is that